call to order the special meeting of the Ironton City Council Saturday, February 28th, 2025. Just a reminder of special meetings. There is no audience participation. Moving along, Craig, roll call please, Martin. You're good.
Brown.
Here.
Haney.
Not here.
Harvey.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Simmons. Here.
Greg.
Move to add communications that was in your notification for a special meeting regarding planning commission.
Prior to ordinances.
The letters for the appointment of planning commission are on the mayor's desk that no one has a key to. But nonetheless, we do have something before the planning commission. Right now it has zero, actually it has 2 members. You are one of them. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Haney. And the mayor is the other. The other 3 are community members, and those nominations were for in a pinch for a guy named Steve Harvey, a guy named Ralph Klein, and a lady named Jody Rowe Collins, who we could find a volunteer for that on Friday. And the mayor has those on his desk as a recommendation for the planning commission. They're aware that that has to meet prior to our next council meeting to give recommendation on ordinance 2607, 26.
I think it's 09. Right here.
It is. It's 2609.
And when's the 30-day limit?
March 12th.
Okay. So it's before our next meeting.
Correct. Yes.
So I'll second that motion to add communications and planning commission nominees prior to the reading of ordinances. Discussion. We got a motion by Craig and a second by myself to add communications and planning commission nominees. Roll call please, Mark.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons. Aye.
Craig.
Move to accept the nominations from the mayor. Does anyone want to individually separate those out? I guess we have to because we're.
Yeah, I'd like to have a separate, I need to abstain.
Can we do 2 and then 1?
No, because I'll have to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
Okay.
the first nominee was Jody Rowe Collins. Move to accept her nomination.
Second, we have a motion by Craig and a second by myself to nominate Jody Rowe Collins for the planning commission. Roll call please.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons. Aye.
Jody Rowe Collins, congratulations. Appreciate your intent to help the city. Along with Craig.
Move to accept the appointment of Ralph Klein to the planning commission.
I'll second that. Have a motion by Craig and a second by myself to appoint Ralph Klein as position of the planning commission. Roll call please.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Abstain.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons. Aye.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the nomination of Steve Harvey to the planning commission.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Nate and a second by myself to appoint Reverend Steve Harvey to position of planning commission. Roll call please.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Abstain.
Hawk.
Here.
Aye.
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 Scott.
Aye.
Simmons. Aye.
So Jody, Ralph, and Rev, we appreciate your guys' dedication and input and to serve on the planning commission. Thank you very much. Moving along to ordinances. Robbie.
Before ordinances, I wish we had legal here, but is it possible to motion to open this for audience participations? No?
I do want to say that prior to reading these ordinances, I believe that the city's been put in a bad situation due to some personal vendettas about spending and mayor's decisions and personal property gain and things like that. And I think that me personally, I think that our city workers, have not been put in a good situation, probably unsafe situations by not being able to get the equipment they need. This is basically in retrospect, almost like a government shutdown, and I would never think I'd be in a position to say this about our city. But, as we are, we had to come in, try to, rectify this situation. So moving along, Marta, would you please give ordinance 2612 reading?
Amending codified section 234.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Nate?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2612 second and third reading. I'll select and mention that the ordinance received favorable recommendation by the finance committee.
Jacob?
I'll second that, but
Robbie?
Discussion, sorry, you can continue, Jacob.
I was just gonna say I'll second that motion, but I'll hold off until discussion.
Cool, so one, I'd like to, I think that personal vendetta was directed at me there, and I would just like to respond to that. I have no personal vendettas against anyone in our city government. This issue is for, the reason I present a counter ordinance, we'll say 2613, is because I believe this ensures fiscal responsibility, it ensures transparency, and if I were sitting in any position in the city government, this is something that I would endorse myself. I think these are perfectly reasonable limits. $25,000 is 5 times the amount of the $5,000 limit that's currently in legislation. And so I want to emphasize that we have another ordinance 2613, that would prevent the so-called government shutdown, because it would still increase that amount by 5, and it would insert, there's an amendment proposed that we will propose at that ordinance that will allow emergency spending. So in the event of an unlikely emergency where there's an expenditure more than that, that will be taken care of.
Okay, we have a motion, discussion.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying also, Sarah. I personally would be willing to revisit these spending limits, especially what you proposed as emergency language in the future, when we have time for committee discussion, department head feedback, mayor feedback, and can go through that process. But in the immediate, for where I feel where we need to be at with the city, making it retroactive for where we've been, and where we need to be at right now to make sure that our city's functioning. I feel like I strongly support this ordinance going forward. And then I'm not gonna get in a back and forth debate, but I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Great.
Same, Sarah, I appreciate this attempt, for real, because I think this is probably the right path forward in the future. I just feel like I haven't had time to digest this fully, and I want to make sure that we get back to business as a day-to-day operation in the city, and then visit how we put up our guardrails. I feel like right now, we still do have guardrails in the fact that we set the budget. And so if there are expenditures that exceed our line items in the budget, they have to be presented as a budget amendment anyway. So those guardrails that we have are the budget and the spending amounts in the budget. And Robbie, I appreciate your efforts on this, because I hear you when it comes to municipalities our size versus Portsmouth and Cleveland and Beechwood and all the things that you set out. But what Mark Dickus said during our last council meeting kind of rings in my ear about, like, you know, thinking about like the New Boston situation and what Jim Tordiff brought up, and flooding a pump in to get that water out when we're not meeting until the next Thursday, or we call a special meeting when we have 48 hours. In 48 hours, there's a lot of water, and we can't get a pump here, and a pump costs the same in Ironton as it does in Cleveland or Cincinnati, you know, etc. So that rang in my ears as like, ooh, I really need to think about this, but I don't want to do it in the way of getting back to the day-to-day of the city business. And I will say, I kind of ride the fence on both of these, because I think this is probably the right thing to do. But the immediate right thing to do is to get back to day-to-day operations of the city, and for us not to be caught, as the old saying goes, with our pants down, and have something happen with flooding, or, specific to Ironton, flooding, or something unforeseen, a utility bill, and we can't remove sludge from our, sanitation. So those are the things that I worry about with not moving forward.
Jacob?
I just want to kind of refresh to the Robert's rules. So we need 6 votes in order to suspend the rules and give it second and third reading, correct, right?
Yes.
And we would need 6 votes for it to go into effect immediately. So if there's less than 6 votes, it'll take 30 days to go into effect. So if there's any expenditures in between now and those 30 days, that could cause a significant problem. Correct, John? Right.
Yeah, it is 6 members to suspend it, 6 members to vote in favor of it for it to pass. It goes into effect immediately upon passage. If 6 suspend it, 5 vote in favor of it. It's 30 days before it goes into effect. If it is 5 members, voting to suspend it, there'll probably need to be 2 more immediate council meetings called.
Well, Nate, I'm sorry, one more thing, and then just again, I appreciate you trying to come as a compromise. My compromise to you is if you'd like to, put together, I know this is a proposal, an actual ordinance that would amend it to language like this, and like I said, the mayor, finance director, department heads, so forth, to give input in a finance committee meeting and discuss it, like how to move forward. I'd be happy to do that, in a finance committee meeting and kind of do that in committee for discussion about best practice going forward. So that's, I mean, I do appreciate your compromise, but I'm thinking about the current state of the need for this. I just wanted to share that.
So we received an opinion about this on Thursday, prior to the meeting, and I have zero confidence that a well-written, ordinance can be put in place from Thursday when we got this until today, which we didn't even know we were gonna have to have a special meeting. So what we had in 2020, I believe was sufficient. There's some other things that had been brought up in previous from 01, 011, or 2011. We didn't have any finance meetings about this. We didn't have any, strategic planning meetings. We didn't meet with, the last time we met with the supervisors was in a budget workshop. And like Craig says, the budget workshops are where we set the limits. You can always vote against a budget amendment. If John proposes a budget amendment for spending that we have within the city, we put it on the agenda. If you don't want to vote for that, if it goes above and beyond our budget, then don't vote for it. But right now, what we are doing is if 2612 does not pass, we are in effect shutting down the city government and shutting down the ability for our workers to be provided a safe and secure working environment. That being said, we have a motion on the floor by Nate and a second by Jacob to suspend the rules and get second and third reading by title only. Roll call, please.
Brown?
No.
Amy?
Aye.
Harvey?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Klein?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Simmons?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so is it possible to have 2612 pass for a period of time?
Okay, so let me, like Nate said, if, and I love what Nate said. If you can put that into a full ordinance and have it ready, and we have to have, we're gonna probably probably have to have some strategic planning. We're definitely gonna have to have a finance meeting. And like Nate said, I would like to involve some of our supervisors, in order to think this through correctly. I don't think we can, I don't wanna start passing things on a whim because of certain situations.
I agree with you, which is why I'm concerned about this. Is it possible to pass this and say until an ordinance?
There need to be a motion to amend ordinance 2612 with timeline. Then it would also have to go back to finance for a recommendation, and then it would have to go back to a meeting, or go through the meeting. So right now, we're on second and third to suspend the rules, and you're the last vote for that.
And with whatever ordinance you're wanting to create, you can also, within that ordinance, repeal ordinance 2612, provided that your ordinance passes, and to get this moving forward. So I just think there needs a lot more input. We have things set, but if there needs to be a significant change to this, I think we need more heads of departments coming in. We need to meet with John, probably Mark Vigas, the mayor, in order to have a holistic approach at what we're trying to do. But right now, I think with public safety, with employee safety, something has to be decided today. Robbie?
I would just like to reiterate that this is not saying that more than $25,000 can't be spent. The opposing legislation is suggesting anything above 25 would come through council. I would also argue, you mentioned that an ordinance within 2 days, a successful ordinance, you doubt a successful ordinance to be crafted. We're proposing, either way, we're proposing a new ordinance. Either way, this is a new ordinance that's been crafted in 2 days. 2613 would achieve the same goal by keeping the government quote open, by getting it open to a $25,000 threshold. We have a proposal to put emergency language in it, and also want to iterate that the shutdown that was mentioned does not affect payroll, does not affect benefits, anything like that. It affects single item purchases. So I wouldn't consider that a government shutdown by any means.
The effects of it 100% is because it affects the employee's ability to work in a safe environment, provide safe environments for our city. That being said, ordinance 2612 clearly states the only changes that we made to anything was add ORC language to it. So if you've got a problem with ORC, you're going to have to lobby reps and everything. We've got to get this to a vote, right? We're not going to go back and forth on this. So we have what?
Because I'm concerned about the city being able to function, I'm going to say yes reluctantly.
We have
That was suspended.
that rules have been suspended for ordinance 2612. Marta, would you please get that second and third reading by title only?
Amending codified section 234.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency, second reading. Amending codified section 234.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency, third reading.
Nate?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2612.
I'll second that. I have a motion. Greg?
Discussion real quick.
Discussion.
I just want to say that I hear the concern that you have, and I told him I'm committed to making this what we want it to be. I feel the exact same way you do. Let's get back to the day-to-day for now, and make sure that we have the appropriate guardrails. Even though, as I told you, I think that our budget right now is our guardrails. This is an additional guardrail, and I don't disagree that we should have one. So.
Nate?
I just want to say also, again, my willingness to revisit that with more heads in the room, more people with experience, actual boots on the ground. If we want to revisit that, I will help support you take a probably the first tough vote you've had here, and,
I'm not looking forward to more.
I sat in that chair too. They're not all easy. I've been there torn and conflicted on a lot of things. And, you know, the fact that you're here serving, I know that's a big part of it. So, but again, I'm willing to work with you on that, going forward.
And whatever we need to do in order to get the right people in here, just let me know, and I will make it work. Because when we do things like this, my stance has always been, I don't want to do bits and pieces. I want to have a holistic to where we don't have to revisit it again. This is something that, I don't want to piece it out. I don't want to sit here and have 19 different meetings and 19 different ordinances. When we can get together, have everybody's input, put it in the way we want it, and then that's off our plate. So the holistic way of dealing with issues like this I've always been a proponent of just going ahead, and it's not easy. It's not going to be easy because we're going to have multiple meetings, but that's what you have to have a holistic legislation in place. And I'll support whatever meeting you want to have, whoever we need to bring in, we'll make it happen, and then we'll have a holistic version in place. So thank you for your willingness. Motion, I made a second. Roll call, please, Mark.
Brown.
No.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons.
Ordinance 2612 has been adopted. We need to read.
Yes.
Mark, would you please give ordinance 2613 a read?
Amending codified section 234.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Ironton and declaring an emergency. First reading.
I just want to make mention that this ordinance received unfavorable recommendation from the Finance Committee.
As noted. Robbie?
Is it okay to start with discussion before a motion on the ordinance? If not, I can motion to adopt the ordinance first, but,
We need to have to motion to suspend the rules.
okay, so is it okay to discuss first?
Discussion.
Okay, we'll go to discussion first since 2612 has already been approved, adopted. I would like to, if possible, file and make part of the meeting minutes, make a motion to file and make part of the meeting minutes, the example cities with mayoral spending limits, and also the proposed amendment to ordinance number 2613, as well as the legal opinion that we received from the Andersons on February 25th, 2026, so that all of this is part of the public file.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please, Mark.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons.
And then I would just like to highlight a few of these cities here real quick as we were discussing this legislation. These are other cities with examples of the mayoral spending limits. Portsmouth, Ohio, $36,000. Beechwood, Ohio has a population of 13,500 and the amount is $25,000. Richmond Heights, Ohio, population 10,500, has a spending limit of $15,000. University Heights, Ohio, with a population of around 13,500, has a spending limit for mayors of $15,000. And Cleveland, one of the 3 biggest cities in the state with a population of 365,000 people, has a spending limit for their mayor of $50,000 without council approval. So I just wanted to iterate that I don't think $25,000 is an unreasonable guardrail for mayoral purchases in a city of our size.
So with that, their budgets are probably, Cleveland's budget is probably, I don't know, 100 times, or probably more than that, actually. So and as it's been stated, our budget is a major guardrail. So whenever something is spent that is outside of what we as a whole vote on for the yearly annual budget, if it exceeds that, that's when these situations arise. So in order to protect it, that's when you have to vote. Are we are we going to stray from our budget and for this reason and this reason only? John will have the numbers for us and then we as a whole vote on it. Robbie?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. These cities, I just want to make clear, all have city budgets as well. It's a both and, it's not an either or type of situation. And so obviously the belief of these cities is that even with a budget, there should be a lower limit than the budgeted limit for the whole year, because we make a budget for a year. Yes, we amend it when things need change, but this allows more oversight, more transparency, and more input from a body, an elected body, on those single item purchases that exceed a certain threshold. And so, yes, we have budgets. Yes, the budget is important, but I also believe it shouldn't be an or situation. It should be an and situation with a mayoral spending limit that is a reasonable amount. That way there's more oversight from council.
I don't disagree with that, but I would probably refer to John with this, that their buffer is probably a heck of a lot more than ours is. We don't put a huge, I mean, we all know John, and I respect his qualities of being very conservative within the budget. So I think their buffer is a lot larger than ours is. So, I just think that's one situation where, we've got a good finance director. He's on top of things, and we as a council meet, have these budget workshops. Nate, how many budget workshops have we had? Three. So that's our chance to go over and what we are comfortable spending in each department, and we vote on that. And it's typically budgets are unanimous, or very few times will they have any opposition to the budget, because we work together to set that. So that being said, just that is a major guardrail. Now, I'm not saying we just would spend whatever, but I think we need more time. I think it needs more time for a holistic approach.
Sure. For the sake of doing what you're going to make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2613 second and third reading. By title.
Second. We have a motion by Rodney, second by Sarah, to suspend the rules for ordinance 2613.
Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I retract that motion? And can I first make a motion to amend ordinance 2613 to include the proposed section 6 document that we have on our tables from council member Simmons?
Jacob?
Just as like Robert's rules, I think we can make a motion, but if it was amended, it would still need recommendation from finance. The recommendation for the ordinance in finance was for the non-amended.
You're correct. So we'd have to have set another meeting for amended ordinance.
Okay, I'll go back to my original motion and motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance 2613 by title only.
We have a motion by Robbie and a second by Sarah to suspend the rules for ordinance 2613. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
No.
Harvey.
No.
Hawk.
No.
Klein.
No.
Scott.
No.
Simmons.
Yes.
There's not enough votes to suspend the rules. Craig?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Nate? I'll second. Second that. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Bye.
Scott.
Aye.
Simmons. Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys for